It was a road weekend for the Ravens as volleyball traveled to Central Methodist University for a triangular. Soccer headed up to Dubuque, Iowa for matches with Clark University, and the Raven football team headed up to Canton, Missouri to take on Culver Stockton College. First up, while the results were not what they'd hoped for, with losses to nationally ranked Central Methodist and Ottawa University on Saturday, volleyball bounced back on Tuesday night with a 3-1 win over rival Baker University. In a closely contested match, the Ravens rallied back in the fourth set using 3 big blocks to overcome a late deficit and earn the win, their 5th straight win in the series over the Wildcats. Women's soccer improved to 3-1 in heart play as they bounced back from a road loss at Central Methodist with a 1-0 win over Clark University. Emily Ambule scored the game winner off an assist from Isabel Wilhelm during the 84th minute. Men's soccer came out firing against Clark as they earned a 3-0 win over the Pride. Benedictine outshot Clark 30-5 as John Mullen, Rory Cotter, and Zacharias Crispo scored goals for the Ravens. Finally, football earned their 28th consecutive win over Culver Stockton on Saturday with a 27-7 victory. Benedictine finished with 345 yards of total offense while holding Culver Stockton to just 19 yards on the ground. And now we head into the studio as we visit with men's soccer senior Daniel Berry, volleyball senior Jade Rasmussen, and women's soccer head coach Lincoln Roblee. The latest edition of the BRSN Insider starts now. Welcome to the latest edition of the BRSN Insider. Josh Pound now joined by Daniel Berry, a senior here on the men's soccer team. Danny, thanks for coming and taking the time to visit with us today.
No problem. Thanks very much for having me.
So 5-5-1 this season, probably not where you guys want to be. Just talk a little bit about the ups and downs of this season so far.
You know, we started off kind of very well, get a couple of wins, a few wins on the road, and then kind of just in the big moments of games, we kind of let things slip, and those numbers for last column kept on kind of adding up. But getting our first win in conference at the weekend and kind of starting the momentum again. So we're just hoping to continue that again with Mercy.
Well, just looking at the box score from the win against Clark University, you guys just kind of came out and really dominated. 3-0 was a very convincing win, but it could have been a lot more convincing. Their keeper really had a good game, didn't he?
Yeah, we really wanted to kind of send a message to the rest of the conference that we're not going to go away. And we felt like that we could have put up a lot more numbers, but their keeper made some fantastic saves on the night, really.
Well, now you're going to head home to start October. 5 of the last 7 games at home. How important is it for you guys to be able to get back on that home pitch and play in front of your home crowd?
It's huge. Having like every student come out and support us, it really helps us. I kind of think it showed when we won a couple of games in overtime this year. The crowd are very important to us, and anytime they come out and support us, we really appreciate it.
We'll kind of switch gears now. A year ago, you had a season taken away from you. First game of the year, you go down with a leg injury. We won't get into the specifics of that, but just take us back through, what that was like. Obviously, last year's team had a whole lot of potential, and then it kind of got bit by the injury bug, and that potential was not obviously fulfilled. But just take us back through, obviously, maybe a dark time for you when you knew that, hey, I'm not going to be able to finish this season with this team?
It was tough, like mentally more than anything, because last year we really did think it was going to be our year to go to nationals and have a real shot at it. But obviously, 2 ACL injuries last year. But I couldn't talk more highly about John Sosa and Ronaldo and Mark Mulaski, because they helped me through every step of the way, whether it was taking me to appointments or just making me get out of bed and do extra stuff. The year went by very quickly, and it was all thanks to them.
So what was that process like? I mean, how long until you had surgery, and then after surgery, how long was it until you felt back to 100%?
So I had surgery a month after September 21st, and from there it was kind of like a 6 to 8 month period of just getting back into the gym, starting jogging again, being told to hold back a little bit, even though if I thought I could play. So I didn't really play a game until July this year. So it's kind of been more for me this year. It's kind of, can I prove to myself that I can still play at the level where I was at 2 years ago, more than just having a great season overall.
What was it like when you were able to step back out on that pitch this year and play in a full game?
It was emotional. kind of being able to call my parents and said I'm okay, not having to call me at 2 in the morning saying I think I'm after hurting my knee again or anything like that. So it was just great to be back out there on the pitch with everyone I played with over the years and just have all the support that they gave me.
Well, obviously everybody can hear Danny, Cork, Ireland is where you come from. So what has that been like? You know, I mean, a lot of the guys on the team, they may be a couple hours away from mom and dad, but you're not just more than a few hours. You're almost a whole world away from your parents. So what's that transition been like for you?
It was difficult because I would say I'm a home bird, but having someone like Rory Cotter, who I was playing with back in Ireland, it made everything a lot easier. And then like people on the soccer team, it really is like a family. People who I met since my freshman year, I'm still very good friends with them. People who are long graduated. So like the people in Benedictine really have made the transition a lot easier. But obviously having Rory around made that extra.
Now, how often do you get to go home? Do you go home for the summer, or do you stay here in the States?
It's kind of varied. So I've stayed during the summer. I went to New York. I always try and go home at Christmas just because, like, that's the period where you really want to be home and see everyone, the family. I've always tried to go home for at least 2 weeks during the summer, and then it's kind of just hectic the rest of the year trying to stay here and get classes done, and obviously trying to play ball again.
Well, we're gonna have a little fun here to wrap this interview up with. We'll have a final four. So I'm gonna either ask you a question or a phrase, and you just the first thing that pops to your head. So the first thing: football or soccer?
Football.
Okay, so what I'm getting at is most commonly referred to, obviously the same sport,
same
but
sport.
in Europe it's known
Football.
So even though you've been in the States as long as you have, you still call it football?
Still football.
All right. What is the most American thing you've picked up as part of being over here?
Ranch.
Ranch?
Yeah.
As in ranch dressing?
Yeah.
What is it about it?
I've never had it. It's not in Ireland.
Really?
Never had it in
Interesting.
Ireland before, no.
So you just put ranch on everything?
Put on everything now. Everything.
Okay. Turf or grass?
Grass.
Grass?
Grass.
So what is it about grass that is just a more pure
the feel of
the
it.
feel?
Like it just feels more pure. It feels better to play on. I hate turf so much.
And it has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that you hurt your knee on turf?
Absolutely not. No. Absolutely not.
All right, so the final question. What is the craziest atmosphere you've ever played in front of on a soccer pitch?
Probably CMU my freshman year here. We won 3-2. Rory scored with about 2 minutes left. And honestly, I thought we were going to break the fence over the corner. He ran over to the corner, everyone came down, and it brought everyone together. It was incredible. It started off a great year for us. So, yeah. All
right, well, thank you, Danny. Danny and the rest of his Ravens back in action here at Legacy Field. There'll be a press release about that later this afternoon. But Legacy Field here on the campus of Benedictine College at 7:30 on Saturday as they take on Mount Mercy University.
A wise man once said, "The world offers you comfort, but you were not made for comfort. You were made for greatness." Discover what you were made for. Benedictine College, where greatness begins.
Welcome into the BRSN Insider. Josh Pound, now joined by Jade Rasmussen, the middle hitter here for the Raven volleyball team out of Parker, Colorado, a senior this year, and a big win last night for the team. 5 straight wins over Baker. Now, that's a pretty impressive number considering the rivalry between the two schools. What did it mean for you and the ladies last night to get that win here at home?
It was huge for us. It was something we talked about before the game, that our class hasn't fallen to Baker, and it was something we were willing to uphold and wanted to put the work in for, and it was really fun.
A good crowd on hand last night. How much does that play a difference? I mean, I know sometimes that the way the schedule works, the games, especially on bigger weekends, fall at weird times, so the crowds maybe suffer a little bit. But last night, a primetime game, pretty decent showing that stayed throughout the entire match. How much do you guys feed off of a I don't want to say a raucous crowd, but just a crowd that's into the game?
Yeah, I think a crowd can play a huge role in success in a team. I think it's so fun to play off of them and the energy, and it makes a big point feel even bigger and even more fun. So that's always a good time.
Well, you're sitting at 10-13 now, 5-3. So every win in the conference is huge. But again, last night being Baker, an even bigger win.
Yeah.
Just kind of talk about the ebb and flow of how the season's gone. You finally come home, you get a couple of wins under your belt. It's just kind of been an up and down. What have you seen as maybe some of the bigger differences to success and then maybe just off of and not being able to get that win?
Well, we started off on the road a lot, which I think was hard for us. We are a big home team. We love playing at home. So it was fun to finally get home. I think that was important for our morale and to get home and have a good home game. And then I think the win against Evangel was a big turning point for us. I think we started to feel good out there. I think we have a lot of older girls, but it's a new team on the court this year, and it took us a little bit to figure out how we like to play together. And I think Evangel was a big turning point for that, and just the last few weeks continuing to push on feeling good. I think that's so huge for us as a team. When we are not feeling like ourselves, it shows.
Well, you talk about it's a new team, but you do have a lot of seniors. What is that like to have? I mean, there are some years that we'll have maybe one or two, and then this year was just one of those years where we have a lot.
Yeah.
What does it mean for your class to be able to kind of continue to build this program back to being a program that people have to respect more in the conference?
It's been something we've talked about our entire time here as a class, that we wanted to stick together, we wanted to do this together, we want to leave a legacy as the 10 of us, and it's been really, really fun. The camaraderie is unmatched. It's something I'll never forget, and I think that has been a part of our success, is that a lot of us played on JV together as freshmen, and we know each other so well. We have that respect for each other. We can know what we're all thinking without talking about it, and I think that's a big part of our success.
What's been the maybe one of the bigger surprises of your experience here at Benedictine?
That's a good question. Just the heart that we have. I think we've had ebbs and flows every season. We always face diversity. We always face injuries at not good times, or games at not good times, like you said, and the heart that we continue to have for each other and for the game has been a great, wonderful surprise.
Well, now that we've kind of covered the volleyball side of things, one of the things we're doing as we expand the program this year, I've got a Final Four. So I'll give you a comment or a statement, and you just say the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
And if it's something we need to expand on, we will.
Okay.
So the first thing, your favorite season, and by season I mean fall, winter, spring, summer. What's your favorite season?
The fall. I love the fall because we play in the fall, which taking back to volleyball, but also just the weather. I'm a big hoodie girl, so that's my favorite weather.
All right. What's your perfect meal?
Perfect meal is a good steak, some mashed potatoes, and a good veggie.
All right. Now, you're a middle hitter. What's more satisfying, a block for a big point or a kill for a big point?
A block, hands down, easy money. It's one of the best feelings in the game to me. Even the back row says it's one of the best feelings for them, and it's a feeling that is unmatched in my life thus far.
Okay, all right. So our final one now. It'll be interesting to see how you answer this. So, where do people who live in Colorado go on vacation?
The beach. We find a beach, which is pretty much the only reason we ever leave the state. Or school.
Because Dakota and I were talking, we're trying to figure out what the final question would be. My fondest memories of growing up in Kansas are vacations to Colorado.
Yeah.
So I was curious to see, Colorado is a vacation destination, but when you live in Colorado, where do you go? So beach, any kind of particular, just beach in general?
It's all up to you. My family's favorite beaches were in Mexico growing up. We did a lot of Mexico and a lot of California. I have family from California, so we go there a lot.
All right, well, Jade, thank you.
Thank you.
Jade and the team head out on the road for a non-conference match on Thursday as they'll head up to Omaha to take on the College of St. Mary.
A wise man once said, "The world offers you comfort, but you were not made for comfort. You were made for greatness." Discover what you were made for. Benedictine College, where greatness begins.
Welcome to this week's edition of the BRSN Insider. Josh Pound, now joined by the head coach of the women's soccer team here on campus, Lincoln Roblee. Coach, thanks for taking some time. Schedules have finally worked out to get you in here. You're off to a 3-1 start in conference play, and you're sitting at 9-2 overall. 2 losses against 2 top 15 teams in the NAIA. So not bad losses by any means, but losses that prove that you're playing out there and in the rankings. Just talk about how the season has gone for you guys so far.
I think it's gone really well. We've got great play from seniors through freshmen. Our senior class are giving us that leadership and enthusiasm and experience that really you want to have always in college. We've played another really strong schedule, and we've had some really strong victories. Had a couple tough losses by a goal, but I think those games gave us experience, and we're always ready to improve as the season goes along. But I'm not sure the goals for goals against, but we've been pretty dominating so far. We probably have like 45 goals and 7 against, or it's around something like that. But some really strong performances by a lot of individuals, and the team unity is very strong.
So 3-1 in conference. You start out the conference schedule with a combined 9-0 wins to open it up, and then you've scored 2 goals, given up 2 goals, and your last 2 of which you've split.
Right.
What's been the bigger? Has it just been the change in the opponent from the first 2 to the second 2 set of games, or is it just kind of that time of the year where you're starting to hit that grind, and so you're having to kind of maybe adjust on the fly during the game?
There's a little bit of that. I mean, each opponent brings something a little bit different. We had one half where we just kind of opened up and scored a lot of goals in a short amount of time. Most time in college soccer, there's going to be 1-0, 2-1, 3-1 type games, so most of them are going to be like that. And I know, like when we played Grandview, we scored 1 goal in the first half, 1 goal in the second half. We win 2-0, shut them out, and that's a solid victory. And we played Clark, and I thought we played a pretty good game, and we were definitely on the attack majority of the game, and they had a more defensive setup. And we got our goal, get the shutout, get the goal, and win the game. There's going to be a lot of games in which we want to get as many opportunities as possible. Hopefully we can score 7 goals, more than we score 1 or 2. But I think we have the capability to score 7 goals in every game we play. We want to make sure that we dictate the tempo of the game, limit the other team to opportunities, create as many opportunities as we can get, and then execute.
Well, you mentioned it's always nice to get those 7 goals, but do you guys have a number? I mean, is there a number that you talk about? If we score this many, then we're confident that that's going to be able to get us a win?
Well, I've told the team that we want to be able to score a goal in the floor of play, and we want to score a goal in the restart. There's a number of teams that we've played in the past that have almost just tried to slow the game down, kill the play with a foul to slow us down, or just hurt us before we get in a dangerous area. And so when that presents itself, so we've got to be able to execute on our restart. So we want to score in the floor of play. We want to score on restarts, and we want to limit the other team's opportunities. I've said a few times, I think we have the ability to score 2 goals in each half. And but there's always going to be a setup by the other team. But I think we have the ability. I think we're probably averaging around 4 goals a game. I don't know. I know in 2015 we led the nation in goals, and we played 25 games and scored 100. I mean, that's very difficult in college. If you can score about 2 goals a game in college, you're usually going to win most of your games. And but we've got a lot of good team cohesiveness and good attacking play to where it's not unrealistic for us to go to that next level and get 4. It's not easy, but you score 2 goals, usually you win. If you're really high octane, you can score 4, and we just want to make sure that whether it's 1 goal or 4 or 7, that we're playing to the best of our ability. So a lot of times, even the score we want to win, but it's like, hey, let's play well, let's play better than we did the previous game, and that's what we aim for.
Well, you start out the year with a lot of home cooking. You're able to play on the field here at home, and then it seems like the month of September you were gone.
On the road.
That was just lots of road games. Now you're going to come back. You're going to open up October at home. You're going to have 5 of your last 7 games at home. What does it mean for you and the ladies to play on the home field and play in front of the home crowd?
Absolutely love it. We love our field, but we just love being on campus, surrounded by all of our super fans, friends, family, everyone that's in the Benedictine community. It's just incredible. We have a home field advantage because of who we're around and the support that we have. We have not, I don't know, that it's either like 43 or 44 consecutive games without losing at home. It is insane. And I know the last time we lost was 2016, the home opener against Westmont. And we've hosted a ton of playoff games, national tournament games, and some outstanding opponents. And we'll play anybody, and anybody comes on in. And I remember when we were playing Southeastern earlier this year, and we were headed to overtime, and I have no idea how. I don't know if it was like rock leaders or something just kind of came out of nowhere, and all of a sudden we had like 150 more fans to show up in overtime, and then we scored and won. And I remember this huge roar. You know, that was before everyone was on campus to start the year, so we had no students on campus. All of a sudden for overtime, here came like 150 whatever people just going crazy. And obviously we wouldn't have people just show up in overtime on the road. They were like in some sort of training when our game was going on. But we do get that emotional boost. We get that additional support. This Saturday we're actually going to have our annual breast cancer awareness game. And it's something where the ladies wear pink. We raise some money and bring some awareness. And it's something we do annually, and that's something we do at home. And there's more festivities at home. We'll have Hall of Fame stuff in the future, homecoming, and all these things, which are just fantastic. So great community to play, and really excited about the upcoming games.
Well, the next opponent, 5 o'clock on Saturday, Mount Mercy University. What can you tell us about them?
You know, they're fairly new to the conference, so this is only the second time they've ever been on campus. They're off to a slow start, but they've had some good games with opponents. I haven't seen much of them. I've been just kind of focusing on other people, but I'll definitely be giving more attention the last few days of the week in preparation to make sure. I know when we played them last year, we played at their place and we won 5-0 and had a pretty good game. But they, I remember, had some good attacks and good players and were organized defensively. And I'm sure we'll be going up against another organized, solid team that's focused on playing well on Saturday.
Well, Coach, thanks for taking the time to visit with us today.
Thank you, Josh.
Coach Roblee will lead his Ravens out to Legacy Field. That'll come out this afternoon in a press release, but Legacy Field at 5 o'clock on Saturday. Thanks again for coming in, Coach.
Thanks, Josh.